I've been excited about Outriders, this upcoming title from People Can Fly. And this is a title, guys, that reminds me of Gears of War. It's kind of seems to be somewhat of a spiritual successor to Gears of War, a little bit of a Destiny feel to it. Amongst a couple other, shooters out there, this seems to be definitely an aggressive approach since People Can Fly worked on Gears of War in the past, that being Gears of War Judgment. I think that this is definitely an approach to have a title that can compete against the likes of Gears of War, and I love that. The more competition, it definitely keeps people on their toes. It definitely helps in many ways, guys, because the more competition that there is in a specific space, the better quality content typically we're going to see, whether that be from, say, People Can Fly with Outriders or a future entry in the Gears of War franchise. So I want to talk about everything that we know now about Outriders, and we've made content on the YouTube channel about Outriders in the past. You guys can check out all that content here on the YouTube channel, but I want to talk about right here, right now, what do we all know about this title? So let's get into it. So guys, this is an article written by Jordan Oleman of Games Radar. Learn more about Outriders, a new third-person looter shooter from People Can Fly. People Can Fly is striking out into the unknown with a new IP in the form of a spacefaring shooter known as Outriders. This Square Enix published title is headed to next-gen consoles and blends together a few genres. It's a peculiar three-player co-op looter shooter with a distinct focus on storytelling and gunplay. This makes sense given the studio's storied history making crunchy shooters. So what is Outriders? Outriders is a third-person looter shooter from story developers People Can Fly. The studio is well known for its 2004 debut Painkiller and later its work on the Gears of War franchise, and then in 2011 they co-developed Bulletstorm and would later go on to aid development of Fortnite's pre-Battle Royale iteration, Save the World. The studio bought itself out of its agreements with Epic Games in the middle of the decade to work on its own IP, which turned out to be Outriders. So, published by Square Enix, it's a magic-infused RPG where players can pick classes and create custom builds, embarking on missions from social hub areas. The story dictated by plentiful cutscenes and branching dialogue with NPCs. It can be played solo or up to 3 other players in co-op. So here's a big part of this, guys. It's a full package. You've got the single player, you've got multiplayer and co-op. So whenever I talk about, these, AAA titles that are coming out, guys, I always love to see full packages. I mean, I think every AAA title should be a full package, having a single player story, co-op missions as well, co-op, modes as well, and multiplayer. So as far as the release date is concerned, guys, Outriders has actually been delayed slightly. It was supposed to come out late 2020, but now it is slated for February of 2021. Take that release with a pinch of salt due to everything going on in our world right now, guys. A lot of game titles out there are getting pushed back because of, the developers having to work from home and such. So take it with a pinch of salt. Right now it's slated for February 2021. Maybe it'll come out later on. I'll definitely keep you guys posted as more information comes out on that. What is the premise? The story of Outriders is somewhat influenced by Polish folklore and follows a band of soldiers who are corrupted by a force of unknown origins known as the Anomaly, whilst trying to colonize the planet Enoch. It kills many of the invading troop and corrupts the rest with some sort of infectious virus. Awake after a deadly infection, the survivors split off into desperate factions, including gruesome tribes and scientists focused on technology. You're left in the middle of this civil war on a failed colonization project of a planet which is now full of terrible beasts, as well as the worst animal of all, other humans, some which are totally corrupted by the Anomaly, leaving little trace of humanity in their system. So a very interesting story, guys. Can't wait to see what that's all about. I think it definitely sounds pretty unique, and that's what I love about it. The game kicks off with the protagonist arriving on Enoch with the colonizing force before jumping through time 30 years after the colonizers awaken the Anomaly. So how does Outriders play? During previews, the developers were quick to decry those trying to pin it down as a live service game in the same vein as the Division or Destiny, due to the fact that Outriders contains a fixed narrative with a beginning and an end. However, it's very easy to compare Outriders to games of that ilk. It has an Anthem-esque hub with native NPCs, shops to sell items, and triggers to start missions. So hopefully, guys, this isn't a title that is riddled with a ton of different microtransactions, things of that nature. Hopefully this is more of a, having more earnable items than payable items. It's fine to have microtransactions, but I think, guys, it'd be nice to have more of the earnable items than the payable items. And those earnable items should be way better than the payable items, in my personal opinion, as I've always said on the YouTube channel. Outriders is taking a bold stance against pay to win, and it won't feature any loot boxes. It's also composed by Einan Zur of Fallout fame and offers narrative choices via branching dialogue trees through. It's unclear what ramifications your choices will have on the game world just yet. This means that it isn't just up to the developers to balance the game with one blanket difficulty. The players can pick and choose how they want to experience it. Given the focus on story components, some may want to just play the game in a cinematic fashion with little challenge compared to those who want to grind for endgame loot against the more tricky enemies in Outriders. So look, guys, here's the deal. We know, the thing I love about what Square Enix and People Can Fly are doing here with Outriders is we do know a decent amount just based on the, the different trailers that have come out, gameplay that has been shown. We saw, more recently, guys, more, gameplay and things of that nature. What I love, though, is that they're not really, kind of spoiling everything for us with the whole story and all the mechanics, all those things. A lot of those things they're actually just leaving to us to try out when the game comes out in February. We don't have to wait much longer. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the game is polished, finished, guys, when it comes out in February. But we'll have to wait and see. We know a decent amount about the game at this point, but there's still some mystery to it, which is what I really like about it. And these are the things that we know so far. I gotta say, guys, this is coming, really climbing the ladder of my most anticipated games for 2021 at this point in time, guys. I'm very excited for Outriders. Are you excited about it? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Outriders content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.